Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. All right, I'm not going to talk this whole time in Spanish. You know, Miss Lawson loves talking in Spanish, but it goes along with what we're learning today, fourth graders. So let me share my screen so you can see what we're doing today, too. So we are going to be working on a sleuth today. So get those magnifying glasses out because we are going to be detectives. We are learning to read closely so that we can have a deep understanding of what we read. We know we are successful when we can monitor our comprehension while we read, use text evidence to answer questions, and ask questions about the text. We are reading a story called Learning a New Language. And as we read, you're going to see how it connects to that Spanish I was speaking at the beginning. There was a buzz in the classroom. Mrs. Taylor announced that a new student was joining the class soon, and the student was coming from Mexico. After the announcement, Mrs. Taylor asked everyone to quiet down. I know you're excited about our new student, she said, but I have some other good news too. Our principal, Mrs. Littlefield, and I have decided that it'd be helpful for us to learn some Spanish. That'll help us communicate better with Alita. She can learn English while we learn Spanish, Mrs. Taylor explained. Mrs. Taylor's class broke out in cheers of excitement. I know some Spanish already, informed Kelly. My grandparents speak Spanish. Great, Mrs. Taylor responded. You can help us learn Spanish too. We have a guest coming today who's a Spanish tutor. He's going to teach us some Spanish language basics. Then you'll feel more confident talking with Alita when she comes. Just then, a man walked in and introduced himself. Hello, or hola, I'm Senor Alvarez, and I'll be working with you over the next few weeks. Before you know it, you'll be able to have a simple conversation with Alita. Senor Alvarez began the first lesson. There are a few tips that I'd like to share with you. Remember these, and you'll have an easier time learning a new language. First, you'll want to spend as much time as you can listening to the language. So I'll leave some Spanish language CDs for you. Listen to these and practice saying the words with the speaker. The second tip is to spend time every day studying. I'll be here twice a week, and when I'm not here, work together in a small group and practice what you have learned. The third, and maybe the most important tip, is not to worry about making mistakes. Sometimes you make mistakes even when you're speaking English. So don't worry about making mistakes when you're trying to learn how to speak Spanish. Don't be afraid to ask me or Alita when she arrives how to say or pronounce something. Senor Alvarez then taught the class how to say a few words and phrases in Spanish. After the tutoring session ended, many students were eager to practice. They followed Senor Alvarez's first tip. They grabbed the Spanish language CDs that he left for them. They had no time to lose. The students were excited about being able to greet Alita in Spanish when she arrived. How cool is that, fourth graders? So, first question we're going to talk about is, why does Mrs. Taylor feel it is important for her class to learn Spanish? So, why are they learning Spanish? If we go back in the text, it says right here, she's from Mexico, and it says, I have decided it'd be helpful for us to learn Spanish. That will help us communicate better with Alita. She can learn English while we learn Spanish. So they want to be able to communicate with her, make her feel welcome. So that is something really important. So what do we think the text structure is here, fourth graders? Are we describing something in depth? Is there a sequence? Is there a problem and a solution, a cause and effect, compare and contrast? What do you guys think? Yeah, I'm hearing some different answers, fourth graders. I'm hearing maybe it's problem and solution because Alita doesn't know how to speak Spanish. So that's the problem, and the teacher's finding a solution so that they can communicate with her. That's one idea. And a second one could be cause and effect. The cause is they have a new student who can't speak English. The effect is they're making the class learn some Spanish so that they can communicate with her. Man, that's a tough one, fourth graders. And it is describing the process of learning a new language. So as long as you pick an answer, you give a good description, and you're confident about it, fourth graders, I think a few of those could work. So let's go ahead and describe some of the tips for learning a new language that we learned in the story. Let's look back in the text and find those tips. Pause the video so you can look back in the text. When I was looking, I noticed that it says first right here. So that's where I'm going to start. First, you want to spend as much time as you can listening to the language. So the first thing that Miss Lawson wrote down is listen to the language as much as possible, because it says it right here. So we're going to listen to it as much as possible. What's the next tip, fourth graders? Oh, look, it says the second right here. Great job. It's spend time practicing every day. And I noticed when I finished that last paragraph, it says practice saying the words with the speaker. That's a big thing too. So practice speaking with others and practice speaking with what you're listening to on the CD. Man, we already have 3 tips, fourth graders. Let's get that last tip. Yeah, don't worry about messing up. Miss Lawson messes up all the time, and it's okay. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Get this filled out, fourth graders, so that you are prepared to write your summary. Here's my summary. I'm going to take it away for a second. So take a minute. Can you create a summary about tips for learning a new language? That sounds really hard, doesn't it? No, we already did the hard part, fourth graders. You go and look in your web and you look, here's your main idea. So that's your first sentence. There are some tips that will help you learn a new language. That's your main idea. Now you're going to go and type out or write your 3 or 4 ideas. So first, listen to the language as much as possible. Make sure to practice every day. It will help you to practice speaking the language. And don't be afraid to make mistakes as you learn. So when you do the hard part of making this web, all you need to do to create a summary is to turn it into a paragraph. Guys, you did it. There's your summary. Great job, fourth graders. So let's look back at our success criteria. Did you monitor your comprehension while you were reading? So while we were reading together, were you like, okay, does this make sense? Am I following? That's something you have to know, fourth graders. How do you think you did on that? Did you use text evidence to answer questions? Check, we did that. And here's the asking questions about the text. So what are 2 questions you might ask Alita about her home and life in Mexico? I don't know a lot about Mexico, or maybe you don't. So what questions could we ask her about where she's from, what her home life was like? I can't wait to read those questions, fourth graders. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Adios, amigos.